5 ways to know that you are dealing with a player. So by the end of this tape, I want you to be in the position to where you're like, I've never been played, or I got played a long time ago, but I don't get played. Like, I want you to be in that position. Hi, my name's Renee, musician and sociologist, and we're going to break this down to where you don't have to worry about dealing with a player or getting into a toxic love cycle ever. Players tend to follow the exact same script, the exact same narrative. Nothing changes. And like they say, don't hate the player, hate the game. The game doesn't change. The player does, but the game doesn't change. By the end of this video, you have the ability to recognize game and manipulation right off the bat. Number 1, if you hear the I'm not ready yet, I'm not ready for a relationship, I'm not ready for a commitment, oh, I just got out of a relationship and I'm not sure if I should be rushing into something, oh, I want to take my time and, make sure that I'm at a point to where I can be the best man or the best person. That is a clear indicator of a player, because if they are not ready yet, they should not be pursuing dating and being in a relationship connection of any type. They are doing this specifically because they are trying to get you to lower your boundaries and to not apply pressure to them while they are out running game on other people. They're also doing this to create a deflection. The biggest reason why they're going to do this is because they want you in your head like, okay, I'm not going to rush him. I'm not going to ask for too much. If I see him with other people, if I think he might be talking to another girl or anything like that, I don't want to step in because I'm not his girlfriend. I'm not with him like that. I don't want to put too much pressure on him because he says he's not ready and I don't want to mess things up. That's what they're trying to do. Number 2, frequent absences. If they go missing for long periods of time, even just a couple of days, that is a huge red flag. If you guys are texting every day and then all of a sudden you don't hear from him for like a day or two, that means he's out setting up something with someone else. This one aligns perfectly with the I'm not ready one because you don't want to put too much pressure on him. You don't want to ask where he's at. But if he is frequently absent, guaranteed he is setting something up with someone else, because if he really liked you, he wants to make sure that he is available to you, that he's there for you, and he's not going to want to have long pauses and long breaks where somebody can come and swoop you up. So watch out for any inconsistencies with texting. Watch out for if all of a sudden he's not available anymore for days or especially weeks or months at a time. He is setting something up with somebody else or multiple people. I would say as soon as he goes and disappears, maybe one time you can give him an excuse like, okay, maybe he was just busy or he was just scared. Maybe one time. But usually if he does that, if he disappears on you for a few days or whatnot, that's it. Cut it off. Now let's look at the deeper ways they manipulate. Number 3, big claims and no follow through. They will say things like, you're their dream girl, you're what they've been looking for, you're what they've always wanted, but they're not showing that through their behavior. They're not trying to lock you down. They're not trying to get into a committed relationship. Or if they are, they're doing it at a rate that doesn't really make sense. So they're trying to do it way too fast, or they're not trying to do it at all. Both of these are a bad sign, because someone that's trying to do it way too fast, oftentimes it's because they're hiding something or because there's something that they don't want you to see, they don't want you to know, to where they don't want to give you the time. A real genuine guy is putting it in your hands. He's putting it in your control. He's allowing you to decide when you think is the right time that you guys should move forward. He'll be in a position to where he'll really want a relationship with you, and he'll be open and forthright, and he'll let you know like, hey, I want to be with you. But at the same time, he's not going to be, okay, if you're not going to be my girlfriend, we need to break up right now. That would be a really bad sign. That's love bombing. Yeah, that's something that you don't want to deal with at all. So if they're trying to get into a relationship way too fast, like let's say they're talking about marriage or starting a family or being in a committed relationship and you just met them, that's a red flag. But also if they have no action, if they're saying that they think that you're the most incredible person in the world, but they're not ready for a relationship, they want to take their time. Like, Both of those are bad. So the relationship should unfold at a good, natural rate. Number 4, pushing for certain parts of the relationship but holding back others. This part is huge. So they may be trying to share certain parts of themselves but not others. So they may have a push to want to be intimate or to want to spend a lot of time together, but they don't want to let you get to know the deeper part of themselves or find out more information about them. A lot of times what they'll do is they'll hide information about their family, their home life, where they're from, personal details about themselves. They may be overly sharing with certain emotional parts of themselves, but not other parts that make sense. They may be quick to talk about an ex or past relationships, past heartbreak, and want to bond over trauma or bond over something sad, but they don't tell you about things they're doing to improve their life or things they're doing to make things better. They don't seem to have any long-term goals or aspirations. These are all really bad signs. Typically, if they're trying to push for one part of the relationship but hold back others, it's because they're trying to steer the ship. They are trying to control the relationship, and that's really bad. You guys should both be on equal terms. You guys should both be navigating this relationship together, and you should be in a position to where you feel really comfortable with the rate that it's going and how it's going, to where you don't feel like you're missing big pieces of the puzzle or big parts of the story. Now, this next one is the biggest telltale sign on if you are dealing with a player. Number 5, gatekeeping the relationship. If you're in a position to where you feel like you can't reach out to them at any point in time, to where you feel like you can't just call them up if you want to, if it's 3 a.m., if it's 3 p.m., and you just want to chat, or you want to see what they're up to, or let's say it's the weekend and you don't really have anything going on, if you can't just call them up and say like, yeah, hey, let's go to the movies, or let's go bowling if you're free or whatever, if you don't have that comfort level that they're available to you when you need them to be available to you, that is a terrible sign that they are gatekeeping the relationship. If they're trying to induce the idea, or if they're trying to act like they are the ones that are going to let you in over time, or they're the ones who have this whole I'll call you, you don't call me, or I'll tell you when, you don't tell me when, get rid of that person immediately. Don't give them a second chance. Don't give them a second time. Like, they're done. If you don't have that comfort level to where you can just call them up, come over their house, hang out with them when you feel like it, share whatever with them. If you instead feel like you have to walk on eggshells, this is a really bad sign that they have created a script and a narrative for the relationship that they want you to follow. If you text them or if you say something to them at a time that, let me give you a good example. Let's say you randomly just want to chat and you call them up and they have an attitude or there's a vibe of like, oh, well, that's doing too much. Then what's happening is they have put you in a role that they want you to play. If they're insinuating that they are not open to you and that you somehow need to ask for permission or be granted rights to be able to access them for them to be available to you, but at the same time you are available to them and they can call you up whenever, they can chat with you whenever, they can hang out with you whenever, this is a relationship that is not balanced, and more than likely it is a person that has manipulated and or is a player. So why does this happen? Because there's a weird thing in our society where it's like the top 5 or 10% of all of the guys get all of the girls. These guys may have several women, several people that they're talking to that want to be with them. They've sort of figured out a pattern, a rhythm, a script, and so what ends up happening is they're players while the majority of guys who aren't that way don't get any girls at all. It ends up being really bad because the women that go to the players end up getting hurt or end up getting jaded from dealing with them, and then it causes an imbalance within the whole dating framework. But the biggest way to defeat players is by not playing their game. If you recognize any of these signs, get rid of them. Don't give them a second chance. Don't say, well, what if, but maybe, but I can earn a relationship with him. You know, if I show him that I'm patient, if I show him that I'm not going to push too much, if I show him that I'm going to let him steer the relationship and him tell me when we hang out and when we do stuff. If you think by doing this, it's going to make him see you and value you and be like, oh, you know what? She's so patient. She's so loving. She's so kind. I'm going to give her a real relationship now. That's never going to happen. And all they're going to do is stall you out and waste your time. So get rid of them immediately. You'll have no emotional scars. You'll feel free and clear, and you can continue to date people that are actually worth your time. I hope you have a great, awesome, amazing rest of the day. Like and subscribe. Please check out my other videos, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.